Welcome to Move Forward Bravely. We are producing some positive stories. Thank you for listening. I am your supporter, Move Forward Bravely. Let us be silent in the stories and the music together and face the future bravely. A story about traveling through time, a space to save the future. Lena, a scientist passionate about exploring the unknown, worked at a renowned research institute. For years, she had dedicated herself to unraveling the mysteries of time and space, attempting to uncover the deepest secrets of the universe. One day, as usual, arrived early at the laboratory, ready to continue her experiments. The laboratory was filled with various advanced instruments and equipment, and the screens flickered with complex data and charts. Lena focused on examining a set of the latest experimental data and noticed some strange fluctuations that seemed to contradict her previous theories. She furrowed her brow, carefully analyzing the data in hopes of finding the cause. Suddenly, a piercing alarm sounded from one of the instruments in the laboratory. Lena rushed over to check and found a strange rift displayed on the instrument screen. She zoomed in on the screen, observing carefully, and realized that this rift was not caused by a malfunction of the instrument but rather by an unprecedented phenomenon. Lena's heart raced. She realized that this might be the breakthrough she had been researching for years. She immediately began recording data and adjusting the instruments, attempting to stabilize the rift. As she made adjustments, the rift gradually became clearer, as if a door to an unknown world were slowly opening. Could this be a rift in time? Lena murmured to herself, her eyes sparkling with excitement. She immediately contacted her assistant, Kevin, a genius programmer skilled in handling complex data and algorithms. Kevin quickly arrived at the laboratory and glanced at the rift on the screen, surprised. "Lena, what on earth is this? It looks like a rupture in space-time." "I'm not sure, but I think we may have discovered a gateway to the past or future," Lena replied, her voice filled with excitement and unease. The two quickly began working together to further study the rift. They used the various detection instruments to try to determine the nature and stability of the rift. After several hours of tense work, they finally confirmed that the rift was indeed a passage through time, allowing people to traverse to the past or future. "Lena, do we really want to attempt time travel?" Kevin hesitated, as this experiment was filled with unknown risks. "We can't pass up this opportunity. It could be a discovery that changes human history," Lena said firmly. Her curiosity and thirst for knowledge drove her to take this step. To ensure safety, Lena decided to first test with a small probe. They sent the probe into the rift, and the screen immediately displayed the images sent back by the probe. The images showed an unfamiliar scene, seemingly an ancient city from hundreds of years ago. "We did it," Kevin exclaimed excitedly. "We can really travel through time." Lena took a deep breath, her gaze determined as she looked at the screen. "Kevin, I've decided to experience time travel firsthand. I must see these past moments with my own eyes." Although Kevin was worried, he also understood Lena's determination. Together, they prepared the necessary equipment and safety measures to ensure Lena's safe return during time travel. Finally, Lena stood before the rift in time, her heart filled with anticipation and nervousness. She took a deep breath and then resolutely stepped into the mysterious rift in time. In an instant, the surrounding scenery became blurred, and time seemed to rotate around her. Then she felt herself being pulled by a powerful force, crossing the boundaries of time. When she opened her eyes again, she found herself standing in a completely unfamiliar place. Everything around her was filled with an ancient atmosphere. People dressed in ancient attire, bustling streets. Lena realized that she had truly traveled through time, arriving in the past. This was just the beginning. Lena knew that she was about to embark on an unprecedented journey through time, exploring the secrets that had been sealed by history. Lena slowly opened her eyes, surrounded by a sense of unfamiliarity and ancience. She found herself standing in a bustling marketplace, where people dressed in ancient attire bustled about, and vendors enthusiastically hawked various goods. The air was filled with the rich scent of spices and the atmosphere of a vibrant market. Her heart raced as she realized he had truly traveled to the past. Lena quickly gathered her thoughts, deciding to keep a low profile and not attract any unnecessary attention. She gently touched the toolkit at her waist, confirming that all her equipment was intact, then began to move cautiously through the market. To avoid standing out, Lena found a relatively quiet tea house and sat down. She ordered a cup of tea, taking the opportunity to observe her surroundings through bits and pieces of information. She learned that this was a medieval town, but she needed to confirm the specific time and location. Lena took out her notebook, recording everything she saw and heard. She knew that every detail could be crucial to her research. Just then, a friendly old man approached and sat opposite her. "Young lady, you don't look like a local," the old man said with a smile, curiosity shining in his eyes. Lena smiled back, cautiously replying, "That's right. I'm a traveler, here to find some stories about a history." The old man nodded, seeming satisfied with Lena's answer. "This is a town full of history. Every stone can tell an ancient story. Is there anything specific you like to know?" Lena's interest was piqued. She decided to ask some probing questions. "I've heard there are some very ancient legends and secrets here, like stories about time." A flicker of surprise crossed the old man's eyes, but he quickly regained. "Indeed, we have many legends about time here. There's one about a sage named Elwin that's particularly mysterious. It's said he could manipulate time." Lena's curiosity was thoroughly ignited. She couldn't wait to learn more, but she knew she had to be patient and not appear too eager. She thanked the old man politely, saying she would explore the town more to learn about the place. After leaving the tea house, Lena continued to explore the town. She walked through narrow streets, visited several ancient buildings, each bearing traces of history. She tried to avoid contact with people to avoid suspicion. At the end of a secluded alley, Lena discovered a somewhat dilapidated library. Her intuition told her that there might be some important information hidden here. She pushed open the heavy wooden door and entered the dimly lit library. The library was filled with the smell of books, and various ancient scrolls and manuscripts piled around. Lena carefully searched through the books, hoping to find clues related to time. As she flipped through the pages, Lena was pleasantly surprised to find that the book detailed the sage Elwin. According to the records, Elwin did possess the ability to manipulate time, and his secrets were hidden in a mysterious relic. Lena realized that this might be the key she was looking for. However, the book mentioned that the entrance to the relic was hidden somewhere in the town, and only those who truly understood Elwin's wisdom could find it. As she was immersed in her reading, a library door was pushed open again. Lena quickly closed the book and hid in the shadows. A mysterious figure entered, looking around as if searching for something. Lena held her breath, observing the unexpected visitor. The mysterious figure walked towards the place where Lena had been reading the ancient manuscript, seeming very interested. Lena realized she wasn't the only one searching for Elwin's secrets. She had to be cautious to avoid being discovered while continuing to pursue clues about Elwin. Quietly leaving the library, Lena felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. She knew the road ahead was full of unknown challenges, but she was prepared to face them all. Once again, Lena stepped into the rift of time, this time aiming for a significant historical event in the Middle Ages. Her understanding of this period of history was quite profound, but she knew she had to be extremely careful, and slight alteration could have enormous consequences for the future. Her destination this time was a battle of far-reaching consequences. Lena traversed the vortex of time, feeling the power of time flowing around her. She landed on the edge of the battlefield, surrounded by intense combat and the smoke-filled air. The shouts of soldiers and the clashing of weapons merged into a chaotic scene. Lena quickly sought cover to ensure she wasn't drawn into the fighting. She knew her task was merely to observe and record, not to participate. She witnessed every crucial moment recorded in history, carefully avoiding any contact or intervention. However, in an unexpected moment, a wounded soldier suddenly rushed to her hiding place and collapsed in front of her. Lena's initial reaction was to help him, but she knew she couldn't change history. She struggled internally for a moment, but ultimately decided to follow the rules of time travel and not intervene. Just as she was preparing to leave, the soldier lifted his head, weakly looking at her, and whispered, "Please, help me." Lena's heart twisted in pain. She couldn't turn a blind eye. She took out her first aid kit and quickly tended to the soldier's wound. She tried to remain calm, but her inner worry couldn't be suppressed. She knew she had intervened in history, but she hoped this small act wouldn't bring about significant changes. After treating the wound, Lena instructed the soldier to find a safe place to hide, far away from the battlefield. The soldier looked at her gratefully, struggled to stand up, and walked away into the distance. Lena returned to her observation point, continuing to record everything on the battlefield. However, things weren't as simple as she had imagined. After the battle ended, Lena noticed some anomalies. The actions and outcomes of the soldiers differed subtly from what she remembered from historical records. This made her realize that her intervention had begun to affect the timeline. Lena felt a panic rising within her. She had to find a way to fix these changes. She decided to travel back to the previous point in time once again, hoping to correct her mistakes. However, when she entered the time rift and returned to that moment, she found the situation had become even more complicated. The soldier she had helped had become a hero on the battlefield, altering the course of the battle. History had been completely rewritten, and the fate of the future hung in the balance. Lena knew that every step she took was crucial. She had to find a way to restore the changes she had caused without further damaging the timeline. She reached out to the Guardians of Time, seeking their guidance and assistance. The Guardians of Time were a group of people who mastered the mysteries of time, tasked with maintaining the stability of the timeline. Lena confessed her mistake to them and asked for their guidance and help. The Guardians scrutinized Lena seriously and decided to give her a chance to repair the timeline. They told her that the only way was to find another key figure in history and restore the original course of events through their influence. Lena accepted the task and embarked on another journey through time. This time, she not only faced dangers from the past but also bore the immense pressure of restoring history. She knew that any further mistakes could bring irreversible disaster. Lena traveled to the era of the key figure, searching for traces of him. She overcame numerous difficulties and finally found the person, persuading him to act according to the original historical trajectory. After much effort, history gradually returned to its original state. When everything was finally back to normal, Lena breathed a deep sigh of relief. She understood the dangers and responsibilities of time travel more deeply and reaffirmed her love and reverence for the study of time. Back in the real world, Lena was determined to record her experiences to warn future generations. Lena's experience not only deepened her understanding of the mysteries of time but also made her cherish every moment of the present more. She knew that time was irreversible, and even a small change could have a huge impact. Therefore, she decided to be more cautious in her future research, never making similar mistakes again. Lena's heart weighed heavy as she realized she couldn't repair the altered history on her own. So, she decided to seek help from the Guardians of Time. The Guardians were a mysterious and ancient group, tasked with safeguarding the balance of time and ensuring history wasn't arbitrarily tampered with. Through a special path within the time rifts, Lena arrived at a mysterious intersection of time and space. Here, the flow of time seemed to slow down and stabilize. Surrounding her was a serene space, akin to an endless sky full of twinkling stars, each seemingly narrating countless historical stories. In this tranquil space, Lena encountered the Guardians of Time. Cloaked in long robes, Their faces radiated both kindness and dignity. They silently observed Lena, as if already aware of her intentions. The leader of the Guardians spoke slowly. "Lena, why have you come?" Taking a deep breath, Lena composed herself and recounted her experiences and mistakes one by one. Her voice was filled with regret and helplessness, but more so with hope and plea. She hoped the Guardians could help her restore the timeline and prevent disasters. The Guardians listened quietly to Lena's narrative, exchanging glances among themselves. Finally, the leader nodded. "You have transgressed the rules of time, but we see your genuine remorse. We will give you a chance to help you repair history." Grateful, Lena bowed, filled with hope. The Guardians began to explain to her the deeper mysteries of time travel. They told Lena that time was like a river, and each journey through it created ripples. While some small ripples might be swallowed by the river, others could grow into massive waves, altering the river's course. "You have stirred up waves in the river," the leader of the Guardians said. "Now you must guide the river back to its correct course. We will assist you, but the task of repairing history still falls upon you." The Guardians led Lena to a mysterious tower of time. Inside, the leader of the Guardians gestured for Lena to stand on the central platform, and the light around it began to spin, as if weaving the threads of time. "We will send you back to the moment when the mistake occurred," the Guardians said. "You must find that soldier and ensure he acts according to the original trajectory of history. Only then can the altered timeline be repaired." Nodding, Lena stood firm on the platform. With the Guardians' incantation, a light grew brighter and brighter, and Lena felt a strong pulling sensation, as if her entire body was enveloped by the power of time. As the light gradually faded, Lena found herself back on the familiar battlefield. She quickly searched for the soldier, knowing she must be extremely cautious and not repeat the same mistake. She saw the soldier on the brink of being attacked by the enemy. Her heart tightened, and she sprang into action. Instead of directly helping the soldier, she cleverly used the battlefield environment to create small obstacles, preventing the enemy from reaching the soldier easily. At the same time, she quietly guided the soldier to move in the direction of safety. With Lena's guidance, the soldier avoided danger and continued to advance toward the heart of the battlefield. Lena nervously observed every detail, ensuring the soldier's actions he didn't deviate from the trajectory of history. Her heartbeat seemed to synchronize with the rhythm of the battlefield, every breath filled with pressure. Finally, the soldier successfully completed his task in history, and the outcome of the battle returned to its own trajectory. Lena breathed a sigh of relief, but she knew the repair of time wasn't yet complete. Once again, she traversed through the time rifts and returned to the space of the Guardians of Time. The Guardians waited silently for her, and the leader of the Guardians smiled slightly. "You did well, Lena. The flow of time has returned to its proper course." Lena felt a wave of relief and joy, but she also understood that this experience had made her realize the fragility and preciousness of time. She thanked the Guardians for their help and resolved to treat time travel with even greater caution and reverence in the future. The Guardians imparted valuable advice and knowledge of time travel to Lena, helping her better understand the rules of time. Lena engraved this knowledge in her heart and resolved to use it for future research and exploration. As she left the space of the Guardians of Time and returned to the real world, she understood the responsibility and significance of time travel and became not just a scientist, but a true guardian who understood the mysteries of time. She decided to keep the Seekers of the Time rift guarded while using her knowledge and wisdom to contribute to protection of the mysteries of time for future generations. Upon returning to the real world, Lena couldn't shake off the teachings of the Guardians of Time from her mind. She continued her time research in the lab, always mindful of the fragility of time. However, she knew her mission was not yet complete. The Guardians had mentioned she must repair another crucial point with the time to fully restore the balance of time. One day, Lena received a mysterious message in the lab. It seemed to come from the future. detailing an impending disaster. The root cause of the disaster lay in a minor change at a crucial moment in history, and behind this change lay a deeper conspiracy. Lena realized this was her final task. She must travel to that crucial moment, repair the timeline, and save the future. Prepared, Lena once again traversed the time rift. This time, she arrived in late 19th century London, amidst the peak of the Industrial Revolution. The streets were bustling with people, and the sound of steam trains filled the air. Following the information, Lena found the key figure whose fate had been altered by the conspiracy, a young inventor named Thomas. Thomas was supposed to invent a crucial piece of technology, altering the course of history. However, due to the intervention of the conspiracy, his invention plans were sabotaged, leading to the future disaster. Lena decided to approach Thomas, help him complete his invention, and repair history. Disguised as an assistant, Lena gained Thomas's trust using her vast scientific knowledge and began assisting him in his experiments. During their collaboration, Lena noticed some unusual occurrences. There were mysterious figures in Thomas's laboratory, seemingly monitoring and interfering with their work. Lena became wary and investigated these mysterious individuals covertly. She discovered they belonged to a secret organization that used time travel to alter history for their own gain. The leader of this organization was the mastermind behind the conspiracy, attempting to manipulate the future by changing Thomas's fate. Lena decided to expose this conspiracy and protect Thomas's invention plans. Using the knowledge and skills taught by the Guardians of Time, she gradually dismantled the organization's plans. At critical moments, she thwarted the organization's conspiracy, allowing Thomas's experiments to resume on the right track. However, the conspiracy organization was not willing to accept defeat. They launched a final attack, attempting to destroy Thomas's experiment once and for all. Lena had to personally engage in a fierce battle against the conspirators. Utilizing the power of the time rifts, she cleverly traversed between different time points, ultimately trapping the conspirators in a maze of time, preventing them from interfering with history again. With Lena's help, Thomas successfully completed his invention. His invention had a profound impact on the future development of technology, averting the potential disaster. Lena watched Thomas's success with immense satisfaction and fulfillment. She knew her mission was complete, and the timeline had been repaired, putting the future back on the right track. Lena returned to the real world with this experience, fully understanding that she was not just a scientist, but also a guardian of time. Back in the lab, Lena decided to keep this experience in her heart and not reveal the secrets of the time rifts to the outside world. She continued to dedicate herself to time research, hoping that one day, humanity would better understand and protect the mysteries of time. Lena understood that even the slightest historical change could trigger significant chain reactions, and maintaining the balance of time required everyone's collective effort. She was determined to use her knowledge and wisdom to contribute to the protection and guardianship of time and the future. Standing by the window of the lab, Lena looked out at the world, filled with hope and determination. She knew this was just the beginning, and there were more challenges awaiting her in the future. As a guardian of time, she would embrace each new task with open arms. Lena had completed her final task as a guardian of time, restoring the distortion of history and saving the fate of the future. Now, standing at the door of the laboratory, she was ready to end this journey and return to her life and reality. A deep sense of satisfaction washed over her, knowing she had made a significant contribution to the destiny of humanity. However, as the time rifts closed, she also realized that the end of this adventure meant she would once again become an ordinary scientist, living an ordinary life. Turning away from the laboratory, Lena stepped outside the building into the bright sunlight and gentle breeze. She took a deep breath, feeling the freshness of the air and the taste of freedom. Deep within her, there was an inexplicable sense of relief and liberation, as if all the pressure and responsibility had dissipated in that moment. Walking down the street, observing the bustling crowds, Lena felt warm sensation in her heart. Perhaps these people would never know of her contributions, but she knew she had helped create a better future for them, and that was enough. Back at home, Lena sat quietly on the sofa, closed her eyes, and reflected on this extraordinary experience. She had learned many mysteries about time and fate, and had felt the infinite power and possibilities within them. However, she also understood that the secrets of the time rift should not be easily revealed. She decided to keep this experience buried deep in her heart, only to be shared with her closest confidants. She would continue to live an ordinary life, doing ordinary things, but there would always be a flame burning within her, a flame of hope for the future and reverence for time. Turning on the television, Lena watched the flickering news on the screen. The world was still changing, and people were still struggling for their lives. But now she knew that the future of this world would be brighter because someone was quietly guarding the order of time. She closed her eyes, smiling, feeling the calm. Even without the existence of the time rifts, she would forever be a guardian of time, using her wisdom and courage to defend the dignity of time. In the quiet night, Lena slowly closed her eyes, immersed in peaceful dreams. She knew that tomorrow would be a new day, as she would continue to play her role, bringing light and hope to the world with her strength and wisdom.